This is a 2021 Porsche Cayenne GTS, and it is the latest Cayenne. There are a lot of Cayennes, but the GTS slots in between the Cayenne S and the Cayenne Turbo, and it has a starting price of around $108,000. And today, I'm going to review it. Before I get started, be sure to check out Cars and Bids, which is my new online enthusiast car auction website for cool modern cars. If you're looking to sell a cool car from the 80s and up, Cars and Bids is the place. You will get the most money for your special car. And if you're looking to buy something cool from the modern era, Cars and Bids is the place. We have an amazing selection with live auctions happening all the time. So check out carsandbids.com. First, a little overview of the Cayenne lineup. There are a lot of Cayennes. Okay, you have the base model, then you have the E-Hybrid, then you have the Cayenne S, then you have this one, the GTS, then you have the Turbo, then you have the Turbo S, ranging in price from $65,000 to $165,000. Then you have Coupe versions of all of those, which are a few $1,000s more expensive. In all, there are now 12 different versions of the Porsche Cayenne. And this is another one. Here's where it fits in. This is above the Cayenne S, which starts around $85,000 with 430 horsepower. Next up, you have this, the GTS, which starts around $108,000 with 450 horsepower. Then above that, you have the Cayenne Turbo, which starts around $130,000 for about 540 horsepower. Now, on paper, this doesn't seem like a great value since you're paying $20,000 over a Cayenne S for only 20 additional horsepower, but there are more upgrades than that. The biggest is that this comes with a twin turbo V8 instead of the turbo V6 you have in the Cayenne S. And you get more than just that compared to the regular Cayenne S. This is the sporty Cayenne for those who don't want to upgrade to a turbo, and today I'm going to show you what that means. First, I'll take you on a tour of the new Cayenne GTS and show you a few of its interesting quirks and features and its upgrades over the regular Cayenne S. Then I'll get it out on the road and drive it, and then I'll give it a Doug score. All right, I'm going to start the quirks and features of the Cayenne GTS in the most obvious place, with the engine. Like I said, this is an upgrade over the Cayenne S, which has about 430 horsepower. This is about 450 horsepower and about 460 pound-feet of torque. But more importantly, like I mentioned, this is a twin-turbo V8 as opposed to the turbo V6 in the Cayenne S. So you have sort of a more immediate feeling of power and a bulkier, brawnier engine for better overall performance. But changes to the Cayenne GTS over the regular Cayenne S go much further than just the V6 to V8 thing. For one thing, the GTS comes standard with a sport exhaust, which Porsche says in their press materials delivers an emotional and distinct sound. Does it actually? Well, take a listen. So, was that sound emotional and distinct? Well, apparently it was compared to the regular Cayenne S. It does sound nice. There's a lot more to it than just that. The GTS is also lowered compared to the regular Cayenne S. Lower center of gravity, better of handling. It's about 1.2 inches lower overall. And it comes standard with Porsche's PASM sport suspension and Porsche torque vectoring, both of which are intended to improve the handling for better on-road or racetrack performance. But beyond those performance changes to the Cayenne GTS, there are also some cosmetic ones over the regular Cayenne S worth mentioning. For one thing, all Cayenne GTS models come standard with the Sport Design package, which is just a general exterior package upgrade that makes it look sportier and more aggressive than the regular model or the Cayenne S. The Cayenne GTS models also come with black accents on the outside instead of chrome. So you have black mirror caps, for example, you have black badging, that sort of thing. helps differentiate the sportier GTS with its black accents from the more luxury-focused Cayenne S. And another upgrade to the Cayenne GTS is larger wheels. The GTS comes standard with 21-inch wheels. This one has upgraded 22-inch wheels, but either way, the base entry-level wheel size on the GTS is larger than what you get in the more comfort-focused, more basic Cayenne S. And finally, the last changes to the Cayenne GTS come to the interior, which Porsche says gives the car a unique ambiance of exclusivity. There's some marketing speak for you. What that really means is that you get standard sport seats, which look nice and they're grippier, tighter than regular seats to make you feel like you're in a sportier vehicle, which you are. You also have an enormous amount of Alcantara, or as Porsche calls it, race techs all throughout the car. You have seat centers in Alcantara, the steering wheel is Alcantara, the whole thing you can see. You also have Alcantara grab handles in the middle, the door panels are Alcantara. There's really just a lot of that stuff, again, to emphasize the sportier distinction over the regular non-Alcantara Cayenne S. But in spite of all of those changes over the regular Cayenne S, you still don't get all that much in the Cayenne GTS unless you add options. And there are a lot of options to add. Now, Porsche is famous for this, but this is really bordering on the absurd. Let me tell you what I mean. Like I said, the starting price of this car is around $108,000. If you want to get lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control, you're paying an extra $3,600. That stuff is standard in a Toyota RAV4 for 25 grand. And it gets crazier from there. You want white? $800. The color white is $800 extra. Auto dimming mirrors, $420. Surround view camera, $1,200. Soft closed doors, $800. Sport chrono package, $1,100. Rear axle steering, $1,600. Blah, blah, blah. You add it all up, and you're at a sticker price of $141,000 for this vehicle with all the options, which is pretty deep into Cayenne Turbo territory. Now, that wouldn't really be such a problem because, of course, you put options on a Cayenne Turbo and that also gets expensive, and so this isn't that crazy, except even at that price, you're still missing stuff. This car doesn't have ventilated seats. They can't make it work with the Alcantara seat centers, so you spend 140 grand and you don't get them. This car doesn't have a power sunroof. Not it doesn't have a panoramic sunroof, it doesn't have any sunroof at all for $140,000. And here's another crazy one. Several Cayenne owners have complained to me about this. There is no next track button anywhere in the interface. I've often complained some cars there's no next track button to change tracks on the steering wheel, but in this car, it doesn't exist at all. It's not in the center console either. The only way to change to the next track is to actually go into the infotainment system and do it on a screen, which is just terrible design, absolutely ridiculous. The result is you end up using this diamond-shaped button, which is the shortcut key. You can program that for various different functions, and every Cayenne owner I know programs it to be the next track button since there isn't one anywhere else. A surprising oversight from Porsche. But with all that said, you do get some cool notable stuff in this car. For instance, there's a little dial on the steering wheel that allows you to put it into Sport mode or Sport Plus or other drive modes, but the coolest part is there's a button in the middle. If you push that, it turns on Sport Response, which gives you like a 10-second power boost. In case you want to pass somebody or fly up an on-ramp for just 10 seconds, it'll give you sort of an extra spurt of power to do it. And next up, another cool feature you get, dual sun visors. Drop the sun visor, move it over to the side, and you still have a second sun visor. That is a nice, luxurious touch. Mostly though, aside from the stuff that I covered at the start, discussing some of the changes between the GTS and the S, this is very similar to other Cayenne models that I've reviewed. So I will link my reviews to the Cayenne Turbo and the Cayenne Turbo S in the description below. They're a lot more thorough than this review. In this review, I just wanted to cover some of the highlights that specifically showed a few of the standout items unique to the GTS. But there is one unusual item about the new Cayenne that I haven't yet mentioned in other Cayenne reviews, and that would be the trailer hitch. All right, this is a European spec Cayenne that I've borrowed from Porsche in order to review the new GTS. And so it has a European spec trailer hitch, which is a bit curious if you've never seen one of these before. Go into the cargo area and there's this little button that has kind of a cryptic diagram, but if you press it, the trailer hitch will automatically and electronically swing out from underneath the bumper. You can see it is slowly going in order to get in place so that the trailer hitch is where you need it to be to sync up a trailer. Now, the advantage to this is you can also hide it very easily and just as electronically push the other button in the cargo area and the trailer hitch slowly and electronically slides out of sight, so you will never see it again unless you need to tow with it. Now, I'm not entirely sure why this tow hitch is not offered in the North American market, but you see it commonly in Europe and I've never seen it in the States, so there must be some regulatory thing. But because this is the European model of this vehicle, it has the automated electronic hideaway European tow hitch, and I just think it is one of the most bizarre features to exist, although it is pretty cool if you're interested in towing with your Cayenne. All right, time to drive the Cayenne GTS. Truthfully, there's not really all that much to cover with the GTS. I'm going to focus on the most important points, which is, number one, it is pretty expensive compared to the Cayenne S and the Cayenne Turbo. It's closer in terms of pricing to the Turbo, and yet it's closer in terms of performance to the S, which makes this a little bit of a questionable vehicle until you start thinking about the other things you get, which is a lot of different performance upgrades. Basically, this is the Cayenne you would get if you want a high-performance Cayenne, but you don't really want to necessarily spend $130 for a Cayenne Turbo plus options $150, $155. And in that sense, it does well. It is quick, and it is nice to have a V8. And obviously, that's the really big benefit that will distinguish this vehicle from a regular Cayenne S. And I think that that's going to be the main reason why people will get these. If they do, it's because they're going to say, oh, I want a V8, I want to have that sort of performance feel. Well, this gives you the Cayenne Turbo's engine, just with less power, but the full V8. A lot of Cayenne enthusiasts, Porsche enthusiasts, also think that the GTS is the best looking version of the Cayenne, or at least the best looking version that isn't like $150,000, $180,000 Turbo or Turbo S. It looks like a more aggressive, kind of bolder vehicle, like you might expect from a Porsche. With that said, if I'm being honest, I don't see a huge difference between the regular Cayenne S and the Cayenne GTS. Obviously, the upgrade to the V8 is a big deal, and you do have better acceleration. It's just quicker when you accelerate to get going, but it's not that much quicker. The Turbo V6 and the S is pretty good, and frankly, the cost difference, $30,000, it's a big number. And that's one of the reasons why the GTS has a fairly limited amount of people who are interested in it. But if you're interested in cars and not just getting a Cayenne because that's what'll look cool to your neighbors, and you want to get like the best one without spending real turbo money, then this starts to make some sense. And so that's the 2021 Porsche Cayenne GTS. Believe it or not, there is a space in the crowded Cayenne lineup for this vehicle. It's the sporty V8 powered Cayenne that isn't quite as expensive as the Turbo, if you get the right options. It's an exciting SUV, and now it's time to give the new Cayenne GTS a Doug score.
And the Doug score is here. The Cayenne GTS gets a 67 out of 100, which places it high in the world of luxury performance SUVs. It deserves it, but it's not without some issues, including a tie for the lowest value score of this whole bunch. I also slightly preferred the driving experience of the Range Rover Velar SV Autobiography, but the Velar can't match the Cayenne for comfort or quality. Overall, this is an excellent SUV in an excellent package, and it drives very well. But if you can spend a bit more to get the Turbo, well, do it.